Most people use Claude to ask questions and that's it. That's about 15% of what Claude actually is. There are 6 layers to this platform. 4 of them are completely different products you can use right now. And the other 2 multiply everything the first 4 can do. Most people have no idea any of this exists. I'm going to walk you through every single one. And by the end of this video, you'll know more about Claude than 99% of the people using it. Layer 1 is Claude Chat. This is the one you know. You go to Claude.ai, you type something, you get a response. It works in your browser, on your phone, on the desktop app. Same conversation, synced everywhere. And for a lot of tasks, this is genuinely all you need. Research, writing, brainstorming, think through a problem, getting unstuck on something. Claude Chat is legitimately one of the best thinking tools that exists right now. Now, if you've been using Claude for a while and you feel like you've hit the ceiling, keep watching, because the next 5 layers are the ones that 99% of people never find out about. And they're the reason that ceiling doesn't actually exist. Layer 2 is projects. This is the one almost nobody talks about, and it's quietly one of the most useful features Claude has. A project is a persistent workspace inside Claude where you can upload files, set custom instructions, and have every conversation inside that project automatically use that context. So instead of re-explaining who you are, what your business does, and what tone you write in every single time you start a new chat, you set that up once inside a project, and now every conversation in that project already knows. Think of it this way. Claude Chat is a conversation. A project is a department. You might have one for marketing, one for business strategy, one for a specific client. Each one has its own documents, its own instructions, its own memory. This is the difference between Claude being a general purpose assistant and Claude being your assistant. The one that already knows your brand, voice, your product specs, your customer personas. If you're using Claude for anything recurring, you should already be working inside a project. Now, the layer I really want to show you is layer 4, Claude Code, because that's where you can actually build real software with nothing but a description. But before we get there, we need to know about layer 3, Cowork, because this is the one that changed my daily workflow. Cowork is where things really shift. Chat and projects live inside Claude's interface. Cowork lives on your computer. It's a desktop app, and the important difference is that you can see your files, it can open them, edit them, create new ones, and save them to your desktop. You give it a task and it actually does the task, not tells you how to do it, does it? If you've ever thought, I wish Claude could just do this for me instead of telling me how, that's Cowork. It's basically a 24/7 employee sitting on your computer waiting for you to give it a job. And this is built for people who don't code. You can tell it to organize every file on your desktop into folders. You can tell it to read your last 50 emails, summarize them, draft replies to the important ones, and flag anything urgent. You can hand it a messy spreadsheet and tell it to clean it up, reformat it, and export a summary as a PDF. I used it to plan a trip to Tokyo. I told it I'm going for 10 days. I want to find accommodation near Shinjuku, and I wanted to build me a full ramen tasting day, hitting the best rated spots across different styles, tonkatsu, tsugamen, and shuyu, the lot. It researched everything, mapped out the route so I wasn't zigzagging across the city, and gave me a full itinerary as a clean PDF. That would have taken me an entire evening. Cowork did it while I made a coffee. Cowork also works from your phone through a feature called Dispatch. Same idea. You assign a task from your phone, Cowork handles it on your computer and sends you the result. One continuous thread wherever you are. But before we get to the most powerful layer in the entire stack, take a second and subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel, but let's keep going. Layer 4 is Claude Code. If the first 3 layers are about thinking and organizing, getting tasks done, this one is about building. And I mean building real software. Claude Code is a development tool. It writes code, tests it, debugs it, and ships working applications. You tell it what you want in plain language, and it builds it. Now you're thinking, I'm not a developer, so this isn't for me. I get it. I thought the same thing before I started using it. But here's the thing, I am a software engineer, and even I was surprised by what this does. I've shipped 10 tools in the last couple of months that I would never have bothered building before. Not because I couldn't, but because the time it would have taken just wasn't worth it. Claude Code made them worth building. And if you're not a developer, that doesn't matter anymore. If you can describe what you want, Claude Code can build it. Build me a web app that takes a CSV of my inventory and turns it into a searchable catalog with filters. That's not a prompt for a prototype. That's a prompt for a working application. This is the layer where solo founders and entrepreneurs are shipping real products, where people who have a problem that would have cost thousands to solve through software can now just build the solution themselves. If you ever had an idea for a tool and thought you couldn't build it, this is the layer that removes that barrier entirely. And if you do have that idea, I'm building something for exactly that. It's called Build It, Ship It. It's a community of founders building products with AI. Live sessions, honest feedback, and I've been shipping software for over a decade. So I can help you build the right thing instead of flailing alone. You have an idea or a problem, we help you build it the right way. The link to sign up is in the description below. All right, those are the 4 ways you actually use Claude. The last 2 aren't products exactly, they're more like upgrades, and they make everything I just showed you significantly more powerful. And the one most people will probably find the most useful is layer 6, skills. But skills don't make sense until you understand layer 5, MCP. Because MCP is what gives Claude access to everything else in your life. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. You might have heard people call these plugins, which is fair enough, but it undersells what's actually happening. Think of MCP like an app store for Claude. Install a Slack server and Claude can read and send messages. Install a Google Calendar one and it can check your schedule, create events, move meetings around. There are MCP servers for GitHub, for databases, for Notion, for almost anything with an API. And these work inside Cowork and Claude Code, meaning Claude isn't just answering questions about your calendar, it's actually interacting with your calendar. This is the connective tissue of the whole stack. Without MCP, Claude is smart, but isolated. With it, Claude is smart and plugged into the systems you already use. Instead of copying data between tools yourself, Claude can pull from one, process it, and push it to another. That's not a chatbot, that's an operating layer across your entire workflow. Layer 6 is skills, the one I teased earlier, and there's a reason I saved it. A skill is really simple. It's a folder with instructions in it. That's it. You write out how you want Claude to handle a specific task, step by step, and Claude reads those instructions every time that task comes up. Say you write a weekly newsletter. Instead of explaining your format, your tone, your structure, your audience every Monday morning, you write that once as a skill. Now, every time you ask Claude to draft your newsletter, it already knows. Same thing for social media posts. client reports, meeting summaries, whatever you do repeatedly. Skills work across Chat, Cowork, and Claude Code. Write it once, it works everywhere. If you find yourself giving Claude the same instructions more than twice, you need a skill. Full stop. So here's the quick rundown. Claude Chat is for thinking. Projects organize Claude around your specific context. Cowork gets real tasks done on your computer. Claude Code builds actual software. MCP connects Claude to your other tools. And Skills teach Claude how you want things done. You don't need all 6 on day one. If you're brand new, start with Chat and projects. If you're already using Claude regularly, Cowork is probably the next unlock. If you've got an idea, you want to build Claude Code. And whenever you find yourself repeating instructions, that's when you create a skill. Now you know they exist, which already puts you ahead of 99% of people using Claude. The stack is the same for everyone. What you build with it is the part that's yours.